What's going on, and welcome back to this episode of Split Screen D&D, the place where we're attacking all things Dungeons and Dragons from both sides of the screen.
Just bring in some energy.
That was good energy. My name's Tom Quinn, resident Dungeon Master here at Modern Myth.
And I'm Josh Wyden's resident player character here at Modern Myth.
This one, in light of, and don't worry, we're not doing a review of,
We should have done that, man.
No one needs a review of the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Unless you do, drop in the comments if you...
We'll pander. We will totally pander.
No, this is not a review of the D&D movie, but in light of the D&D movie, I think, and this is a long time coming, Dungeons and Dragons has found a foothold in being culturally relative. Culturally relevant.
I was trying to go with the relative there. I was trying to make it work.
Relevant is the word I was looking for. And I think, for a long time, I think the movie was kind of a capstone for this, as like, it seemed to be the first time that, let's say, Hollywood was taking the franchise seriously.
Well, hold on now. They've done some D&D movies in the past that were...
Yeah, it seemed to be the first time that Hollywood was taking the franchise seriously. And, but I really got to thinking, and a lot of this comes from the fact that a lot of you subscribers at home are either partially 5e players. Some of you are full-time 5e players. Some of you don't play 5e at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the modern iteration of D&D that has found such popularity is not without its criticisms. Mm-hmm. And I think to some extent those criticisms may well be symptomatic of popularity itself. So I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the price the hobby may be paying for the popularity that it's garnered, the price of popularity, if you will.
Well, before that, hey, Internet, we want to suffer the price of popularity. So make sure you hit that like. Have you subscribed? Have you? Because if you haven't, why? What have we done to anger you so? What have we done to hurt you that you wouldn't just click a button?
Man, when you lay it out, it's so simple.
I know. Thanks. You're welcome.
And really nice segue. I like that.
Hey, I'm becoming a professional YouTuber at this point.
I will pay the price of popularity. No, I love the segue. That was great. But
Yeah.
So laying that out, pivoting right back. Are we of the same mind that I don't even think it has to be an artistic endeavor. It can be many an endeavor of human grit and determination that has found prevalence in popular culture. I would argue that while that is, I guess, what any enterprise is striving for, you don't build a TTRPG system
to fail
in hopes that only one person will ever play it.
Right.
I mean, maybe you do if you're building that right now. Actually, kind of a real heady space to be like, I'm trying to build the most cult.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but broadly speaking, just by nature of the way success is structured in the world, we are hoping for people to indulge in our creative endeavors, in our
the art is to be appreciated.
But I don't know that does not carry a certain amount of baggage with it.
Yeah.
Are we of the same mind that the end product, as a product becomes more popular, there is not a positive correlation between popularity and quality of product?
No,
always.
Goodness, no.
I that's not to say that there aren't products out there that have garnered massive popularity because they are exceptional quality.
Yeah.
But
no, I think that's a pretty easy statement to make. I think.
I just want to make sure that I wasn't off base, and hearing, I'd say generally positive, but I'd say some mixed reviews regarding the film, and then obviously there's kind of a ongoing grudge match in the trenches of the TTRPG space about the nature of D&D and the direction that it's headed. I guess the crux of this whole topic is, as players and consumers of this product, and looking forward, and I guess as the designers and developers, in this case WotC, but this really should apply to any product that is finding a popular foothold. Are there things we should be aware of and concerned about, and are there things we can do to keep the ship from running aground on the jagged rocks of popularity?
Well, I think it's naturally happening, and it happens in almost every. I hesitate to use the word art form, but any type of like artistic, I immediately go to music because that's, and I'm a saxophone player, and if you were to ask a layman out there, hey, who's a famous saxophone player? 99.
They'd say Miles Davis.
Well, hey, actually, Miles Davis is a fantastic trumpet
player.
But hey, you know what? I'll be okay with that because he's so good. I'll be like, hey, you know what? Check out Miles Davis as often as you can.
Despite that being totally inaccurate.
Totally inaccurate.
You passed the vibe check.
Listen. Except for like, he gets weird. He gets real weird. Stay away from drugs, ladies and gentlemen. But like, when I say saxophone player, most people will be like, who?
Kenny G.
Kenny fucking G. And I hate that. Excuse my language. I think we're in enough. I think you have to stop from cursing for like 2 minutes, and then you can pass.
I think it's 15, actually. I have no idea.
Shoot.
But anyway, we clearly don't adhere to that.
I know, right? It's true. But like, so as Kenny G brought a huge, the smooth jazz, right? Brought a whole bunch of like a popularity to jazz and saxophone, which is two worlds I kind of lived in for a while. And at the time, I hated with a passion a man I've never met who just was trying to make $1, but he wasn't very good.
He wasn't just trying to make $1.
Man, that dude bought Starbucks. You don't hear shit from that man because he made so much money. He's like, I don't got to do shit no more. Yeah, he played it smart. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you know what? If like 1 million people listen to Kenny G, 5,000 people are like, hey, I like this saxophone. Who else plays saxophone? They pick up a John Coltrane. They pick up some Cannonball Adderley. They pick up some Joshua Redman. You know, if I threw out any names you don't know, check them out. They're fantastic. I think we're the better for it. Like, it's the gateway drug that leads you to the best drugs.
Are you saying? Did we clear the 2-minute mark there? Did we? Wait. So I want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah.
You think, despite your loathing of,
despite my loathing,
you think okay. So and I think that would also track with the idea that even though I think most people can acknowledge that there is a cost for becoming popular, we still strive for it.
Yeah.
So and we've talked about on this channel a bunch. Like, you can feel however you want about 5th edition. You can't deny that it has brought a massive number of players. And that's actually probably worth talking about in the context of this conversation.
Yes.
When you have an influx of that many players, some subset of them are going to be sitting and enjoying the game you love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a boon to all of the surroundings. Some subset of them are going to be sitting at your 5e table and changing the landscape of that game.
And then it'll branch. That's what always happens.
100%. But I think right now, a lot of what we find ourselves in when we see, some subset of D&D players saying, this is what's all wrong with modern D&D, and some subset saying, this is what's all wrong with OSR or this third party or whatever it is, this is all symptomatic of popularity. Yes. You just didn't have the number of people to start fracturing into factions and warring. You were lucky that the guy who happened to be renting a video next to you at Blockbuster mentioned rolling dice, so now he's sitting in your basement.
Hey, would you like to play our game with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's what I think that to some extent, I mean, you look at that as truly a double-edged sword. Like,
that's exactly what it is.
You might really be disgruntled with, let's call it, the face of modern Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And touche. You're well within your rights to feel that way.
And I never want to say like, hey, Kenny G sucks. Like, not saying
How many
like,
more times are we going to talk about how much Kenny G sucks? I think
if
I'm
I
going,
get,
my guess is at least twice more.
you know what?
Not including this, not including
I've dug so many holes with so many different other stances. I think I'm safe in this one. That
Okay.
Kenny G sucks is a safe. I can be safe here.
Let him know how wrong he
I
is.
swear
in
to
the
God, I'm gonna
comments.
get roasted over Kenny G. That's
It's just-
fine. I'm fine with this.
You are assembling like a list of B team opinions, basically. Of
What I'm doing is I'm
between-
finding my I'm making that super sharp edge. If you agree with most of my stuff, I know that you're legit.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair way to go about it.
Picard is better. All right, let's keep going.
But I think that really is kind of, you know, the benefit of having such a breadth of players who are interested in this hobby also means that some subset of the ones you're going to sit down with are not going to jive with you at all, and are going to have wildly different opinions about what the experience should be.
100%.
And I think
This is growing pains. This is what we're experiencing.
yeah, and I think that much like you're touching on, that reflects into music beautifully. I mean, to your point exactly. I think right now, if you switch on whatever your localized, you know, the top hits radio station, that's going to have whatever list of you know, pop
Same
rock
5
music
songs over and over again. Yeah.
the question, I mean, clearly those songs are immensely popular. You know what?
Right.
I don't know how like old this is going to make me, but I actually don't have any concept of I can't even remember a time putting on the radio like since we moved back to Colorado.
No,
at
thank
least.
God to Spotify.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but so I don't have a good sense of, but I know even, you know, whatever prior. Last time I was listening to the radio.
Want to make you really depressed real fast?
What?
You know what? Like most of the songs are super popular. You know why they're popular?
You're talking about the four. You're talking about the four chords, the same four.
Well, no,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
well, no, yes, but tech freaking talk.
Oh,
man.
TikTok. Yeah.
That's why
Well,
music's
you
popular
have
now.
a special plugin because you're a teacher, so you have a little bit of an inside track on
It
what's
hurts
going on in
my
the minds of people
soul
who will deem
so
things
hard.
popular in the very near future.
It's like, hey, oh God, they're listening to one song. It's like, hey, that's a really good song. Like, no, it's just a TikTok song. We only know 50 seconds of it. Is just the two of us, not the freaking, you know, the original version.
Yeah.
Anyway, makes me sad.
But the point musically, and I think this translates to so many other spaces.
Yeah, if you keep going back to music, I'm going to derail you hard.
But whatever you're switching on, in the breadth of every human musical expression that has ever existed, it has to be in the bottom 10%.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's not being consumed in the top 10%.
That's the thing. And then
And-
the top 10%, that's a percentage. So the bigger the base it is, the bigger
Right.
the percentage becomes.
Right. And so, I mean, I think it's at least worth noting, and I want to try to tie this back to kind of the TTRPG space specifically. What I mean, can anything be done if you know, because and this is what I'll say. I don't have any real fond feelings for WotC, especially coming off of the OGL stuff.
Not at all. Nope.
I'm
Unless they want to sponsor us, then you're my best friend.
We'll change our tune real quick. But I'm not particularly eager about the notion of, a virtual tabletop.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm not particularly, a
Even
lot of
though
what
it's
they're,
amazing. It is amazing
Yeah.
what they're doing.
a lot of what they're presenting just doesn't get its hooks into
Yeah.
me.
Nope.
But I still love Fifth Edition. I mean, as I'd say, as much as I love any of the other systems that I play.
Yeah.
And so, as someone who is participating in that space, is there something you can do? Is there something that anyone out there listening can say to themselves when they are engaging with? I'll include myself in this group. If popularity is this wedge that is driven that can ultimately have some negative effects, every person engaging in it is part of that popularity. Is there some way that engaging with can you is there any slowing that train down? Is there any changing that course? Is there a way to maintain a sense of quality whilst being on a popularity trajectory? And
man, that's a great, because I think that's I don't know. That's such a good question. I don't think that there's a direct answer. What I think is, as we move into this, I don't know if this movie is going to click off an upsurge in D&D. We'll see. Time will tell. But D&D is becoming more popular. Vox Machina is becoming pretty big on Amazon Prime. All that stuff. What I feel the danger is the people who are the gatekeepers, the key holders. Zool. What are the Ghostbusters 2 references I can throw out there? I understand the reason why we do this, because I've done this before, is we're like, hey, we hold the true heart of the game. We understand what the game is truly meant to be. You visitors, you tourists who are coming into our world, you don't understand, because we've been here for years, not 2 years, we've been here for a long time. And here you come and you wanted to sway the direction of what I love. And I understand that you want to immediately say no. And nothing wrong with boundaries whatsoever. Nothing wrong. But at the same time, when you say no, you've now cut off people from enjoying why you love the game. If you love D&D, if you love whatever system you're playing, there's a reason why you play it. And as these new people come in, why not try to share that love that you found with them, instead of ostracizing them, demeaning them by saying, hey, tourist, you do not belong in my world because I have earned the right to be here. You have not. I think it's self-defeating.
No, I mean, I think broadly speaking, I agree with that assessment. I think a lot of what I am hearing, and this would be primarily
you're much more connected
in the social media space, and what I'm hearing echoed is that at least in this example, if we're talking about the actual player base, there are some fundamental ideological incompatibilities.
And that's boundaries. And you should totally set your boundaries. You shouldn't conform to what you enjoy out of the game just because someone else comes by and says, I enjoy something different.
Right.
As we say, there's tables for everyone.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess in light of, I guess that space, and kind of like you touched on with the D&D movie, which as best I can tell is not, financially speaking, is not exactly destroying the box office. And this is something I'll say too, is I heard there was a lot of pushback coming off the OGL stuff of people saying, I'm not going to go see the movie now because of and again, what do with your money whatever you think is the right thing to do with it. I have not
seen it. It has more to do with the fact that I have a 2-year-old at home and I just can't go outside the house. But
I think that despite kind of what I was saying before, like having no particular love for WotC, I think I'm living right in that double-edged space, because I'd love to see the movie be wildly successful, because I'd love to see more media in that space. But the question really becomes is, let's say 5 years from now is the next D&D release, should another one happen. Do you want, I mean, I'll put it this way. I know we keep going back to music, but I think it's the most relevant. It's also one of these deals where the music that I will be handing down to my kids, broadly speaking,
Yep.
very little of it actually was my music. It was my parents' music even. Yep. And that says something about, when you consider the breadth of music that is available to us now, that I'm still going to be handing Zeppelin down to my kids. I'm still going to be handing, like, it's,
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. I mean,
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
And so you just go, how is it possible? And I mean, maybe it's just there's an ocean of popularity and you can't even see you can't see one water droplet from the next because
Well,
popularity is
Yeah, well,
inundated.
I think as time happens, you get to see it polishes, right? So as the years go by, Chumbawamba is like all star by what's somebody once told me the world
Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth. Thank
Is
God
that,
for
is that Smash Mouth? Or?
I don't freaking know.
I don't know why, but I always
it's on Shrek. That's the reason why it still says relevant in my brain. Like it's a guilty pleasure, but like you're saying, when I want my kids to start, like when I introduce my daughter to music, I'm not probably putting that on.
Right.
I want to like the man, freaking Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, the classics. There's so much there.
Yeah, but this is my why wouldn't classics be arising proportionally to the total sum? Like we've got, and this really does apply to the TTRPG space, because I think you have more people playing all TTRPGs than ever before, and if there is a correlation between our music or if it's analogous between, say, music, and I think this applies to, the same applies to film, very likely applies to video games, very likely, there's
if you want to switch genres, we totally can.
No, but being in the music space that we're in, so many of what you're listing is music you inherited from your parents. Why isn't it music that you were the first run on?
I will totally say I was not inherited that. My parents did not listen to that music.
Well, what I mean is, but generationally, it wasn't music that came to prevalence during your heyday.
Right. Well, even back then, though, that might not have been the popular music. And what's beautiful about time is that it sifts through the junk, and that we are currently, so we're sifting for gold right now.
Right.
We have a ton of dirt, and we're just sifting through. We got a ton of junk in here. After 5 years, the gold will be there. That's the stuff we'll remember. How many TTR?
Do you think that holds true for the TTRPG space?
I think it obviously does. Yep. Otherwise, D&D would still not exist.
Well, but D&D's never had popularity. It's never been inundated with so much dirt. That's my point. Is the popularity, I think, is, and I don't want this to be misconstrued. I'm not saying that the player base is the dirt. It's just
the player base is the dirt.
No, I'm saying that when you have so many new ideas, new perspectives, new everything, some of those ideas and perspectives aren't going to pan out as being compatible in the space. Some of them are going to be compatible in different systems. Some of them are going to be, and all of that, I agree, I think will shake out to some extent. But D&D, I think, has survived for more or less 50 years, or at least let's say 40 of 50 years, as a sort of cult enterprise. And I think the real test of time is, and the reason I bring this up is, how many bands have been out there where you're like, you hear some of their early stuff, but the second they get that one that makes the radio,
Zach Brown band, goddamn, yes.
Well, and so it just goes to show you how the finding popularity does not, it doesn't click with people that what got us to popularity is what will see us through. Now that we found popularity, we need to do all of this. What's
100%, but then it doesn't die. So let's say
I agree.
You're a Johnny Cash fan, and you're like, man, I really like Johnny Cash. And then country music went the route country music did, and you're like, man, I really like that style of country. That country still exists. You have to find it.
Yeah.
But it's thriving. It's doing really well, actually. So it's just like, I go back. I still feel strongly that it's just, you have to look way into the future. And don't get me wrong, stick to your boundaries. Why do you like the game? Never let that go. But welcome the new and say, hey, this is why we enjoy the game. You don't like why we enjoy the game? Enjoy whatever version of the game that you enjoy. You'll probably play it for 6 months and go on to the next thing. And that's how most 99% of things go. And then there'll be you'll get like 5% of those people, and you will be so much better for having those 5%.
No, I think I guess in my mind the question kind of was, what what active role can you play? But I think the more that you're saying it, I think that it's a temporal solution.
That's
I
what I
mean, eventually things will more or less right themselves. And that's another thing too, is I think some of the trajectory that, say, modern D&D is on is going to take it to a space that maybe becomes less and less recognizable. It might even be the actual branded D&D, but it's less and less recognizable. In fact, I think there's many people in the old school who would already say
it's happened.
That's why they're where they are instead of being.
And it's happened before. Pathfinder happened for this exact reason.
And I think that I like your gold panning analogy. That's increasingly, as you move from kind of edition to edition, and the pockets of player bases that have been left behind have kind of found the gold in that space, and they're going to stick with that vein. And I actually think I even like the resolution of that, in that 50 years from now, way off on the horizon, there's going to be people doing something so different, but they'll have attached themselves to their vein. And no, I think I like that. And I think it's, I mean, you know me, I like any solution that requires essentially no effort on my part. I just basically like show up.
I'm going to do what I keep doing.
Show up, keep playing the game that I play, and things are going to work out just fine.
Well,
and I actually think that there's something to that. I think
100%. If you enjoy the game, there's a reason. I think I said that in the first 15 minutes. If you enjoy the game, there's a reason why you enjoy the game. That is a valid reason, and you should share that with other people. Or if they don't want to hear it, latch onto it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think you waylaid my primary no, in a good way, and it really redefined the way I was kind of thinking about this. So I'd love to, if you have any other thoughts, but I think we're in a position to pivot a little bit. I know that we may even be cutting it a little bit short here.
We can do a short one.
You're welcome, everyone at home, because we've certainly cut a few long on occasion. So. But no, I mean, any other thoughts? Kind of, wrapping up the I guess the popular directionality.
Yeah.
I guess what are your thoughts? I'll tack this in there.
Thank you.
With regard to let's call it. I think they did actually officially announce. I may be jumping the gun on this. I heard some announcement regarding like a D&D cinematic universe. That may have been before the box office numbers were coming in, because I don't think the film's financially performing that well. But I know I think it's who was it? Joe Magliano, is that his name?
It sounds familiar.
But I think he's actually heading up a Dragonlance series.
Oh, interesting.
I'm pretty sure it was Dragonlance series.
If it wasn't for the fact that they have butchered every single adaptation they've been trying to do for,
I think that's well in the scope of the conversation regarding popularity.
And you're not wrong.
But
yeah, that's what's so hard.
So I guess this would be my question: is a fan base better off with little to no mainstream content if that mainstream content is going to be supplied for the lowest common denominator of the fan base?
Gotcha.
I mean, what are your thoughts? Because I'll say, like I said, I was enthusiastic to hear that they were giving Dungeons and Dragons a fair shake in the theaters, or as fair a shake as we've ever seen.
No, it's not like Blue Lips Mummy guy.
Yeah. So and again, I mean, while I kind of had my anticipations about how Marvel Universe that the film might be, or how I had my feelings about what they might do with that. Like I said, I think it was kind of vindicating as someone who's been playing for really, I guess at this point going on a couple decades. To see that. Again, it's like I think it's cool for the same reason I like bringing new players into the hobby. It's cool to see people get it, and this, just to some extent, a movie or any major grab by the broader media enterprises, I think the same could be said for Vox Machina. I think that's a little more localized to Critical Role than it is to D&D specifically. But but it's just one of those deals where, I think it's a little bit vindicating to see that, like, hey, look how far sitting around a table and playing imagination with your friends has come.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable, really. But is the price of popularity in those media enterprises, is it better to just not have it? I guess that's kind of, like, is it, what I guess, are you excited to see a D&D 2 or a continuation or a new party, or presumably knowing the way they make movies, it's going to be a sequel, but because why develop new characters or
any new ideas? Just rehash the same old crap. They're re-releasing Moana. They're doing a live action of Moana.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's not even like a deck anyway.
Yeah.
So here's what's hard for me is I have my immediate visceral reaction. My immediate reaction is no. What?
It's the Kenny G reaction.
Wheel of Time with Amazon Prime. I saw it. It was like, my favorite character is Perrin. That is not who Perrin is. You left out so much of the Bard. I could nitpick it to death. But the fact is,
I actually like that they didn't really lean.
Go fuck yourself. The fact is that they maybe some people started to read that series and enjoyed it because of that show. Okay, so same thing with D&D. It's hard. It's so hard because they're and excuse my language, bastardizing the thing you love. You said they're releasing Dragonlance. Man, I fucking love Dragonlance. Even the Wizards of the Coast, I don't think did a really good job with Dragonlance. And here they're trying to do this. It's going to hurt my soul. But maybe 5,000 people who've never heard of Dragonlance will now read Dragonlance because of this.
So it's a greater good potentially.
That's what I think. That is the one. It'll make you a happier person, and two, it's better for the community. Otherwise, we become gatekeepers who shut everyone out, and keymasters, and whatever other Zool references I can make. But
no, I mean, like I said, I think broadly speaking, I would be excited to see any media come out. Kind of to your point, I think I watched the first season of Game of Thrones, and that just sent me down the rabbit hole for A Song of Ice and Fire. I mean, and the thing is the books were exceptional.
Yep.
And in many ways the show was exceptional right along with them, and in other ways it really
we won't go into the last season. It's okay.
But so it's one of those things where I completely agree that I don't know how many hours worth of reading through the series I spent, but I very likely wouldn't have been on my radar to near the extent that it was if some worse, more popular version of it wasn't presented
there you go
in that format. So I can appreciate that. Like I said, I don't think I've got a huge amount more to add. I'd love to hear from
please roast me whenever I freaking start digging my hole. You bastard.
If big Kenny G fans, we're gonna see like 40 people on sub.
Okay, I will. Okay, Tom. I don't. Hey. Anyone who responds, "I love Kenny G," let me know.
I will respond. I'm not going to the mat on that
personally.
Here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to hold you to this. Okay.
Okay.
If we see 10 subs on just this video, we will record a video of Josh playing a popular Kenny G song on saxophone. So let's get 10 subs on this one. Let's go 10 subs. Maybe we'll just do it at 500 regardless.
You know what?
I'm figuring it out. I'm still figuring it out.
I don't want this channel to succeed anymore. Do not sub.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, Tom, name me one Kenny G song. Go.
I don't know that I can name a single one.
There you go.
I don't think I can name a single song.
I hate you.
I think if I heard it, I would be like,
we're gonna get 10 subs, and I'm gonna have to play Kenny G.
Yeah,
I hate you so much.
Do it. No, I'd really love to hear from you guys at home. I mean, same question I posed to Josh. Like, is the price of popularity too high? Is it a net benefit for the hobby or not? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And I guess broadly speaking, I just be curious to hear, like, are we way off base here? I mean, like, there might be someone out there who's going, like, popularity is always a good thing. There isn't there's no downside to,
or the opposite. Hey, we're diluting why are you bringing? We have a good thing here. Why are you ruining this? I think those are both.
That's true.
I'm curious.
I think jazz as a whole might have a few words to. They might have been like, we got kind of a good thing going here, Kenny, just chill, bro.
Fun. Hey, I'm
All
gonna
right,
shut my mouth.
10
Anyway,
subs. I cannot wait to be posting
10. Hang on. So what's the requirement? 10 subs.
10 subs on this video. Come on, guys. I know you can put it together. You guys know you want to see Josh rocking that sweet, smooth jazz sounds of Kenny G. We might even be able to drum up like a Kenny G wig for him, and he'll even say if you hit 10, he'll even say something nice about Kenny G at the end. I'm holding him to it. I'm holding him to it.
I will play Kenny G. I will never say anything nice about him.
I think on that note, yeah, I'd love to hear it down in the comments. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, the world is yours.